Welcome to the Still Waters Wreath Designs channel, friends. If you're new here, welcome. I'm happy to have you. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you love all things wreath making. Let's get started. We are going to make a springy, summer, bright floral wreath on a grapevine base. I'll show you some of these supplies here in just a minute, friends, but I wanted to show you something real quick. It's been a while since I've talked about the glue pot. If you are new to floral wreath making, especially on a grapevine, you're going to want to invest in this 8x8 personal cooking skillet. It's actually just like an electric skillet. I grabbed this on Amazon, and I'll put a link for this for you down below. This makes adding florals into your grapevine super easy. So again, it's just an 8x8 electric skillet. And all I do, friends, is grab my Gorilla Glue sticks, which, by the way, I always recommend Gorilla Glue. I've never had any issues with Gorilla Glue sticking and holding in all the weather elements. And I just take my scissors and cut these sticks up into, I guess, pellets, for the lack of better. Put those into your electric skillet. This is called an Elite Gourmet. I think I paid, gosh, I'm not even sure, it was $20. But like I said, I'll link that for you below. And what you can do, friends, is then just dip your floral stems right into your glue pot and then add your florals into your wreath. So you're not going back and forth with your glue gun. Makes it a whole lot easier. So I wanted to show you this quick little pro tip before we dove in. So get your glue gun, or if you have a glue pot, heat it up. I've got my temperature set right at the halfway mark here on my glue pot, and we're going to let it start to melt while I show you some of our supplies here. This is just a 14-inch standard grapevine wreath. I grabbed these beautiful spring and summer florals. I actually have two of these. I don't know if we'll need them both, but as you can see, friends, there's lots of different flower types, flower colors, some beautiful dark greenery, and of course some super cute pink butterflies. So I've grabbed two of those bushes. I grabbed a bush of greenery for filler, and then I grabbed 3 wired ribbons to make our bow for this beauty. Friends, if you are new to my channel and you love all things wreath making, be sure to hit that subscribe button and click that bell so that you get alerts every time a new video goes up on my channel. I typically post new wreath tutorials 2 to 3 times a week. All right, friends, so in addition to your glue pot or your glue gun, you're also going to need your snips to trim your florals. I grabbed my lightweight snips and my heavy duty pair, and I'll leave links for those below too in case you'd like to grab those and add them to your wreath making toolbox. Once you get your tag removed from your grapevine wreath, friends, go ahead and give this guy well, I call it a haircut. Basically, any pieces that are scraggly, really not woven in nicely, they're just sticking out, and then also any loose pieces, just go ahead and trim off there, just so that you've got a clean base here to work with. Make sure when you're giving your wreath a trim, friends, that you flip it over and do the other side as well. I've had a lot of people ask me how I decide which side should be the front and which side should be the back when I'm working with grapevines. And quite honestly, friends, you know, you're really loading them up with a lot of pretties, and so you don't see a lot of the grapevine. So usually I just take a look at my grapevine after I've trimmed it, determine which side is the flattest, and then I put that flat side to the back because I know it'll rest easily on my or my customer's door. We've got our glue pot heating up. We've trimmed our grapevine. So let's go ahead and cut our stems here. We're going to do the floral bush first. I'm only going to cut one of them, friends. This is a smaller grapevine. And so I don't know if we'll need one or two. So we're going to start with one. And basically what I'm doing here, friends, I'm just going to trim each floral off of our bush. This is called the bush. And then each individual piece here is a stem. So I'm just cutting each stem off, and I'm going to leave the tails or the stems a little bit long, probably 2 to 3 inches, until I get an idea of where I'm going to place everything. We can always trim more off later if we'd like to. So kind of like ribbon, guys, you know, you can always take more off, but you can't put it back on. So I'm just trimming gingerly. And if you're new to working with florals, friends, most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, the greenery bits and the florals along the stem will slide up and down. So typically when I'm working with a grapevine base, I'll slide those greenery bits up and get them closer to the bulb of the flower, because we want to make sure we include those. How cute is that, guys? It's got that hot pink flower and that super cute butterfly. All right, so we've got this first bush totally trimmed down. And what I like to do, friends, this is a little bit of an overkill, but I just feel some peace of mind when I do this. I just grab my stems and kind of grab that floral at the end and give it just a gentle tug and make sure nothing is loose. If it is, you can always give it a little drop of hot glue to get that guy reattached firmly, but I just like to make sure that all of my flowers are secure. And they're feeling pretty good. So I'm going to push all of my florals off to the side. I'm sure we'll be back in here to cut some more, but I'm just not going to do that until I'm for sure. The vision for this beauty, friends, is really just going to be a simple and elegant spring and summer floral grapevine wreath. I'm going to just add florals 3/4 of the way around. I'll probably have bare grapevine between the 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock piece, if this were a clock. And then the florals will be thicker towards the center on the left-hand side and then fade into a thinner bit. And then we'll be putting a bow over here off to the side. I'm also going to separate out my butterfly stems. I want to make sure they get highlighted in this wreath, so we're going to put them in last. And so remember, friends, that nearly always your florals are on a wire stem, so you can really bend them and shape them and twist them to take on the life that you would like for them to. And so feel free to adjust them as you would like so that you've got different heights and elevation. When I'm doing a floral, friends, I always like to dry place them first, and then I glue them down and commit. It's just my own personal preference. So that's what I'm going to do here first, guys. I'm just going to do some dry placement of my flowers, and then I'll come back in and glue them down.
After bragging about my glue pot, it's not heating correctly, so we'll just grab the glue gun and use that.
So I'm just either running my florals into the wreath and then adding glue where it's attached, or depending on that stem, I'm going to pull it out, run a bead of glue right along that stem, about 1 inch or so is all you need, and then place that back into the wreath wherever there's a good attachment.
How cute is this coming along? Let's go ahead and make our bow, friends. I've got a 2.5 inch black and white polka dot, a 2.5 inch brightly colored, thinly striped ribbon, and then a 1.5 inch glitter ribbon. It is all wired. Anytime you make a bow for a wreath, a swag, a lantern, anything of that sort, friends, make sure you're always using wired ribbon. It holds its shape far better and will mold the way you would like for it to, instead of being floppy. I'm going to make a quick and simple hand bow here, friends. I'm not really going to give a lot of instruction with it. However, if you're new to wreath making or bow making and you still struggle with that, I will leave a couple of tutorials for you in the description of this video below so that you can click on those and really watch step by step how to make a bow. So let's grab our bow here. We've got 2, probably 4-inch black and white polka dot loops, a couple loops of the striped bright colored ribbon, and then 2 loops of the pink glitter. And I want to add some tails into this as well. And so I'm just going to cut I'm going to say, let's cut 14-inch tails that will nearly certainly trim down so that we've got some extra volume on the back side of our bow. So the biggest tail is going to be this black and white polka dot at 14 inches, and I'm just going to reduce each tail by a couple of inches. And just place that in the center, one on top of the other. Doesn't have to be accurate, friends. I'm just eyeballing it here, like so. And then we can find that center point by folding this ribbon stack in half, giving it a little pinch there. Then when you open it, that crease will show you your halfway point. I'm just going to take a 6-inch zip tie and I'm going to run it through part of my grapevine here. In this open area where we had intended to add the bow, about 2/3 up, you're going to have some tails, so you want to leave room for those tails. And then you're just going to pinch and pleat those tails. We're going to add that right to the center because we'll blend those down here in just a minute. And then you're going to just take that grapevine right through the center of your ribbon and tail stack and cinch that guy down tight. You can use your needle nose pliers if you need some help with that grip, or whatever you'd like to do there. Then you can trim off that tail. It's looking a little bit of a hot mess, but that's okay. Take those tails that we just added in, friends, and you're just going to pull them into a V away from the center of that wreath. Still not going to look great. That's okay. We're going to rough fluff. If you've been on my channel for very long, you've heard me say that a million times. Rough fluff our loops. just to have an idea of where everything is going to lay. Like so. You can see we've got our tail V's out here to the left, and then all of our other tails just kind of going willy-nilly. We're not ready to commit to those guys yet, but you can already see what great character that's going to give our wreath. So the reason why I wanted to place those on there now, friends, is because you want your wreath to not only be beautiful on the front facing view, but also on the sides. So you can see on the side of the intended open space here, where we've just done a gentle fade from fuller to less full to gently blend into that bare grapevine. And then on the top, you'll want some filler. That's not so bad. The bottom's got a couple of holes, which we're going to fill in. And we want to put a few things on the side here next to our ribbon stack. So I'm going to go ahead and use, I have one left of this bright yellow sunflower. I'm going to go ahead and use that. Some side filler there. So I've cut my stem down to about 1.5 inches. Just running that bead of glue on there just as we had done before. I'm going to stick that guy right in there. Perfect. And so the only other bare spot that I really think needs a floral will be down here, friends, and it doesn't need much of a floral. So I'm going to look for something dainty. So what I've decided to use, friends, I just grabbed a smaller bush and I'm literally just going to take one of these hot pink florals and add that into that bare spot because I need something small. And the original bush that we were using is pretty robust. We don't need anything that sassy. So I'm just going to fluff out that a little bit. It matches really well. I'm going to give it some hot glue and add it in down here to my bare spot. There we go. That's much better. I really like the way that looks, friends, so I'm going to go ahead and trim just a few more. I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my pants here, being kind of picky about which ones I use because there's a lot of orange in this bush, which I like, but I want to focus on those pinks. So kind of going rogue from our original plan, but that's all right. I'm just going to pick off 2 or 3 of these beauties just to add in sporadically throughout our wreath here. We'll get those guys glued in. That is looking adorable, friends. We've still got our single butterfly, which we're going to leave for the last. I want to place him somewhere near the center of this bow. So we're also going to add in some greenery filler. This I actually got from Ellis's Home and Garden. It's a newer vendor to me, and I really have been happy with their florals and wreath frames. I've not tried any other supplies, but I really like everything I've tried so far. So just like before, friends, I'm going to take this bush and each stem, slide those greenery bits up and cut them off, and we will nearly surely use this entire bush. So I'm going to trim each stem off, and then we'll do some dry placement. You guys, this is turning out so stinking adorable. It's one of those wreaths where you mean to put it for sale, but you just might have to keep it for yourself. So we've added all of our greenery and our florals in, everything's glued down. So let's go ahead and fluff out our bows and our tails. So just like before, friends, I'm just opening up these loops to give them some life of their own. And remember, we added some extra tails in here, which are super adorable. Keep that behind our flower though. And you can either dovetail those or cut them at an angle. I'm going to go ahead and cut them at an angle. I like to cut them at various lengths. I feel like that really just gives it some great depth and dimension. But you can certainly cut them as you wish. I just always recommend cutting gently. You can always take more off, but you sure can't put it back on. If you've been on my channel for any amount of time, you've heard me say that. Probably more than you care to hear. All right, so there's the trimming of those tails with that yellow flower peeking out. So cute, especially next to that black and white polka dot. So happy with that. Now we'll work on these tails. And just like I said before, friends, cut gently. And because they're wired, you can round them with your fingers. So adorable. This is just cutting together so nicely. My poor doggy, he's upstairs quite certain that I can't really be wreathing without him. Okay, I'm just going to take my fingers and give those tails like a little bump here, like a little curl. Adorable. Absolutely love the way this is turning out, guys. So remember, we had one more purple or fuchsia floral stem with the butterfly, and we need to find this guy a home. So I really think I want that to be right between those tails of the bow so it can really pop out and be in the spotlight. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's exactly what we're gonna do. I'm gonna separate those out a little bit. Grab my glue gun, we'll get this guy attached. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Let's get him wound up here, right in the center of our bow. Oh my goodness, you guys, this turned out so cute.
Thanks for spending some time creating with me today, friends. See you soon.